All right, I want to talk about some Obamacare issues right now. And right now, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman Issa, is calling for a top Obamacare official to testify in the wake of the first successful hack attack on healthcare.gov. Now, that website contains Social Security numbers, financial data, and also the names of family members for all Obamacare enrollees. But administration officials say that none of that data was actually compromised. Joining me now is David Catanese, a senior political writer for U.S. News and World Report. Oh, boy. So how on earth did this happen now?
Well, I don't know exactly how much it happened or why it happened, but just looking at the information here, it looked to be a pretty isolated incident, that it targeted about one server. It happened in early July, and as you mentioned, no personal information was compromised. So experts say that this is actually pretty common and that it wouldn't be a story if it wasn't the Department of Health and Human Services, which obviously has had major problems implementing this website and getting it up and running. So obviously there are going to be fears around anything that goes wrong with it.
Certainly. Well, the mere fact that this was hacked, and granted, no personal information was gotten, but we do know that malware was installed, and I'm not a tech expert, but it apparently could be used to launch attacks on other portions of the healthcare.gov site. And this really gets to the heart of what I think a lot of Americans are concerned about. When you give over your private information to the government, whether it's the IRS or whether it's to HHS, you get nervous because that stuff can be used to destroy people's lives. You would think that the federal government had enough time to figure out a security plan by now.
And I think that's why you have some of the statements that are coming out from both parties saying that this should be taken very seriously. I think later in September that this hearing will delve into some of those details, the how and why of some of the technical details of how this happened. But, I guess we just need to be thankful that people, right, from what we know, people's personal information was not compromised at this point.
Yeah, Department of Homeland Security is charged with looking into some of this stuff, and they're really downplaying. I mean, they say if this happened anywhere other than healthcare.gov, it wouldn't be news. We report extensively on Target, on Home Depot, whenever there's any kind of compromising of personal data. It just seems their downplaying of this is just kind of laughable in a way. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's to be expected. They went through a pretty rough patch with the rollout of this website, as we all know. They got hammered for implementation, for a lot of the early kinks, just being able to log in. This is obviously not a good story for them. But I think until we know exactly what exactly occurred and how big of a threat, we won't know for sure how secure people's personal information are on this website.
And then, of course, the question will be what happens on the campaign trail. Are Republicans going to bring this up on the campaign trail? A lot of folks are saying it is simply a dog. Stay away from it. But, David, we'll have you back. We can talk about that one another time. David Catanese, thanks.
Thanks.